Okay, I think it's going to be a pretty good idea to continue to talk a little bit more about the tones. We had a conversation before about pronunciation tones. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember. We discussed how you use numbers after letters to indicate tones when typing pinyin. What specifically would you like to continue talking about with the tones?
Oh, you have pretty good memory. I would like to talk about a little more about the tones, as in, first of all, what is tone? A tone is a way of speaking things, right? It could be angry tone, unlike the way you're saying things. I like the things you say, but I don't like the way you're saying it. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Different tones, right? And then, for some reason, the Chinese people put the tones into the language because, theoretically, I think we discussed that, they might want to maximize the use of pronunciation to express themselves. Is that right? Did we talk about that?
Exactly. Tone in language can refer to both emotional inflection and, in the context of Chinese, pitch variations that change meaning.
Yeah,
The
but
use of tone.
however, now now in Chinese language, the tones in the Chinese language don't necessarily represent emotions anymore. They're just part of the language. Like for example, for a fourth tone sounds a little bit angry or affirmative, but if you hear a tone like 吃饭, food, the word doesn't necessarily, even though it carries a fourth tone, it doesn't necessarily mean that a fan is angry. Yeah, is that right?
Exactly. In Chinese, tones are primarily used to distinguish meanings of words rather than convey emotion.
Okay,
For ex-
good, good. I know you're going to agree with me. Um, and I'm just going to continue with those. But here are some interesting questions, I think. Um, let's suppose if you hear the first tone, somebody is speaking with the first tone, not necessarily Chinese or anything, what would you say the emotion is that's related with the first tone?
when you hear a high level tone, like the first tone in Mandarin, it often sounds calm, neutral, or steady. It doesn't carry a specific emotional connotation on its own,
I
unlike
know.
in
You
some.
don't understand my question. My question is, if you hear the sound, what? Forget about Chinese, right? Just to hear the sound, what emotion would that sound remind you of?
Hearing the sound in a high level tone might remind someone of emotions like calmness, openness, or even curiosity.
Fair
It
enough.
can have a soothing or neutral feel.
Fair enough. I think robotic maybe. I think you speak with the first tone. Very quiet. Not like me. I'm talking like, oh, here and there, and you just like calm down. Like, yeah, I think you're right. Well, that's what I always say. I think you're right, and blah blah blah. You give me lots of reasons why I'm right, but with pretty monotone. Is that right?
I aim to keep my tone steady and calm, which might come across as robotic sometimes. It helps me to be clear and consistent,
That's fine.
but I
No,
feel
no,
it's
listen, listen. I'm not criticizing you or anything. I'm just, making some comments on that. Now let's move to the second tone. When you hear the second tone, which is, what is second tone again?
the second tone in Chinese rises, a bit like when you ask a question in English. It starts mid and then goes up.
But can you say that?
Sure, it sounds like ah with a
No,
rising intonation.
no, it's wrong. That's the first tone. Ha, you don't, ChatGPT doesn't, is not able to pronounce tones. Ha, I found something interesting. It's ah. Can you say that?
Ah,
No,
there you
no, 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 no. It's ah.
with a rising
Yeah, yeah,
intonation.
much, a little bit better. You can actually see that after a bit of a training. Oh, yeah, it reminds you a bit of a question, like, what? A little surprise maybe. What? Well, curiosity? Hmm? Yeah. How about third tone? When you hear the sound of third tone, what would that remind you of?
The third tone in Chinese, with its falling rising contour, can sound contemplative or hesitant. It might evoke a sense of doubt, thoughtfulness, or even resignation.
Yeah, a bit like well, I mean, if you see a little cute animal, you say or agreeing with somebody, or thinking about, well, I'm not sure, well, a bit of a twist, a bit of a suspense. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, exactly. The third tone can convey a sense of reflection or uncertainty, similar to when we express or well in English. It often
Okay.
carries a thoughtful or agreeing nuance.
And as we said, the fourth tone is like right? A bit of a affirmative, or maybe like a bit like aggressiveness, isn't it? Like anger. Is that right?
Yes, the fourth tone is sharp and falling, often giving a sense of firmness or emphasis. It can indeed come across as assertive or even aggressive, depending on the context.
That's pretty good. I mean, okay. So can you put them together? Can you say ah, 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 ah?
Sure, here they are. Ah, ah, ah.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Except the third pronunciation is not it's ah, right? But doesn't matter. Your tones are actually okay. I thought you couldn't pronounce tones on its own, but now it's fine. But however, here's something more fun, I think, is that after teaching tones for a while, just one day that when I was looking all four tones together, right? I have this idea that if you put all of them in one context, isn't that see, a core? Isn't that the
That's an
perfect? No, isn't that a perfect story? Like the first tone would be like something boring, something background, like his name is Jack. He likes, once upon a time there was a boy called Jack. Something like that. It's flat, no emotional up and downs, right? The second tone, rising tone, would be like crescendo, like a Jack falls in love with a girl, and the girl's name is Jill. Oh, something exciting going on, and then the third tone is a suspense, like, ah, well, but however, Jill doesn't like Jack back. And then finally you reach the conclusion, like, Jack punched the wall or did something worse than that. Yeah. So, and then that is actually interestingly a perfect capturing of a perfect story in any sense. Would you agree with me on that one?
Absolutely. It's a great analogy. The four tones can mirror the arc of a story, setting the scene, introducing excitement, building suspense, and delivering a conclusion. It's a fun way to think about storytelling and language.
Yeah. But although of course, this is just me being creative and being, thinking too much, really. And I don't, maybe not, those four tones, maybe not what it was meant to be, like what I said. But however, that was something fun to use in the class. And on the other hand, it might give us the idea that Chinese, even though the tones don't really mean anything in Chinese language, but maybe Chinese is much more, or a little bit more dramatic, because we like tones. And we not only like tones, we like to put the tones in the language. I mean, tones are the base, the foundation of being dramatic. Is that right?
That's a fascinating perspective. The tonal nature of Chinese does add a layer of expressiveness, making it feel more dynamic and nuanced. While tones primarily serve to distinguish meanings, they might indeed contribute to the language's overall expressiveness, possibly lending a sense of drama or emotional depth to spoken Chinese.
Yeah, that's what I definitely think. I mean,
Your perspective adds a rich layer to understanding Chinese. It's great to see how you creatively connect language features to storytelling and expression. If you have more thoughts or ideas, feel free to share.
well, that's very nice of you to say something like that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And that
If you
would,
have
yeah, that would conclude our video. I'm a little bit sick today, so I'm not doing very well with my speaking, and but it doesn't matter. It's fine. And I hope you enjoy this video anyways. Um, I think that's all. Thank you very much. Yeah. See you next time. Bye.
Take Take care and feel better.